Welcome back to the Leash Mind podcast. I am Mandy Boutel, your host, and today's episode is about healthy boundaries with clients, with work, with family, friends, our animals, just boundaries in general, and how enforcing them in pretty much any circumstance is important, especially with work, so that your bandwidth isn't getting run out, spread thin. You are not running around frantic, and you can set these boundaries in place so that you're setting yourself up for success, because we want to set everyone else up for success, but it starts with us, and that kind of just ripples into everything else. So with that, let's dig in. Okay. So we're talking about boundaries, and I think it helps to share that this topic definitely applies to me. And I think I'm going to have to listen to this myself, because I am someone that has always struggled with enforcing boundaries, maintaining boundaries. I really love helping others and trying to accommodate others. So with that, my boundaries get crossed all the time. I have a hard time enforcing them. And pretty early on in my career, I definitely can say that I let my clients kind of run my schedule. And while I was very helpful for my clients and I was there for them when they needed me the most, not everything was an emergency. And it led to me being very burnt out and spread very thin, because the second I would get a text message or email, I would rush to respond to be helpful and accommodating. But that's like wearing on you over time because you are not prioritizing your own needs. So don't do what I did. And if you are doing what I did, then I hope this podcast is helpful for you as well, because it is very hard. It's really hard when you never really knew how to enforce and set boundaries for yourself. So I think it really starts from the very beginning when you work with your clients. And I think now it's a bit easier to have those boundaries now that more people are virtual, because pre-pandemic, my husband and I, when we had our training business, we didn't do much virtually. We would go to clients' houses and have the in-person consultations. And when we would have those consultations, we would say, we typically respond within this window. We do not respond on these days, our designated days off. If there is an emergency, of course, let us know. And just things like that. So letting them know, like, look, like if you respond to us on a Saturday, we will not respond to you unless it is a dire emergency. So just kind of having them know what to expect from you and what your business protocols are very important, because there's no crossing those boundaries if you're just like, look, this is when this is happening. This is when you will be able to get a hold of me. If you send something, I will respond within this window. That's holding you accountable to do that, but it's also letting them know that you have the designated time when you handle this. And if they don't get a hold of you within that window, then they have to wait. And that's okay. That means that you are a professional and you take your work seriously and you take your downtime seriously, which you should do because you're doing a lot. So a perfect example of not setting boundaries: when I was a dog walker back in 2016, somewhere around there, I was a dog walker. And if you are a dog walker, you know that you will get text messages from clients anywhere from between, after hours, so 8 p.m. to sometimes midnight, from your clients saying, oh, hey, I got to cancel Fluffy's walk. We're going away this weekend. So sorry. And then you have that last minute cancellation. Or someone is just like, oh my God, can you come by and do a quick potty stop for Rex because I'm going to be out of town? And while it may be an emergency, it's also not an emergency on your part. So I had one client that would always text me around like 11 p.m. or 12 a.m. asking to add a walk. And it's something I could handle in the morning. And for a while there, I would respond to them when they texted me and be like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. Or I would say, oh, my groups are full tomorrow. I can't, but I can do a potty stop if you need me to. But what I did when I responded to that text message at that time window is I said, without saying, that it's okay that they texted me at that time. And so what happened? I reinforced that behavior one time. Sometimes it takes single event learning. And then that client began to text me at 11 p.m. That was like their standard for texting me at 11 p.m. with trying to add on or take off a walk. And I got to a point where I was just like, I'm not going to respond to this. Like, that's not an emergency. It's 11 p.m. at night. I don't need to text them right now. And so I would wait until the next morning and I would respond to them. And sometimes I would get a response, sometimes I wouldn't. But I responded within business hours. And once I did that, their behavior did change. They did start messaging me within hours. And if they didn't, that was on them because I stuck to my boundaries. I hope that makes sense. I hope that is a little helpful to some people. So again, with the client thing, and just having the boundaries with the clients and the response times, there are ways that you can set yourself up so that you're not getting overwhelmed. Okay, so we talked about boundaries with clients and windows of communication and when that can happen. So to piggyback on the windows of communication and checking the messages and checking things, I have been yelling this from the rooftops ever since my aunt-in-law told me to do this for my mental health. And that was taking my work email off of my phone. I know, calm down. Don't freak out on me. But I say this because your clients, if it's an emergency and they need to contact you something quick, whether it's like, oh, I need to cancel this really quick, they will text you or they will call you. And I think that goes without saying, but having your work email on your phone, that is just carrying your work with you wherever you go. You're hearing the ping, you're seeing the emails come through. It's overwhelming seeing that many notifications. And I am one of those people that has to have everything zeroed out. I can't see the notifications. They stress me out because it's like, oh, I have to check that. So when I would get like 20 emails just popping in my inbox, that stressed me out. I was moving through my day like a wreck because it was just like, okay, I have to handle my clients right now. And then I have to respond to these clients. And then, oh God, there's a scheduling thing. And oh, I have to drive in traffic. I was trigger attacking myself throughout that process. So the week I took work email off of my phone, things just felt a little lighter. And taking the work email off of my phone helped me in scheduling out and designating time when I would check my work emails. So, and I don't mean that you wake up first thing and check your emails. No, no, no. Take care of yourself and then you can get to your work emails. Those emails will still be there and you will respond to them, but that does not need to be the first thing you do because if you start your day with work and stress, that is how you are going to move through your day. At least that is what happened to me as someone that is highly anxious and a people pleaser. So take your work email off of your phone, even just if you try it for a month, see if it makes a difference. To piggyback off of the email stuff, having autoresponders going on when you're not in business hours, totally acceptable, totally okay. And I guarantee your clients will appreciate how professional you are because they'll know, oh, okay, like this acknowledges that my email was sent. It did get into their inbox and they will triage this and respond when they do within their business hour. There's nothing wrong with that. That is a good boundary to have and it's a good practice to have. And it's almost like a insurance. So even if you're worried about clients emailing you and them not getting a response, they are going to get an automated response, but they'll get a response within business hours. And then that's a reminder to them that you operate within your business hours because you are a professional and an expert in your field and you value yourself that way, which you should, totally should. So talked about work email. We talked about setting boundaries from the beginning. What about social media? How do we have boundaries with social media? What does that look like? What does enforcing boundaries on social media even look like? Can you do that? Yes, you can do that. As someone that has built their entire business off of social media, I can tell you it's exhausting. It's a lot to constantly be on your phone. It's draining because you're just seeing everyone else's posts. You're comparing yourself. You're feeling like you're not doing enough. You're feeling inadequate. And then on top of that, there's the other side of, oh, this person left a negative comment. Oh, this troll commented on my post. Oh, this person shared my post without my permission. Or they shared my post and they had a lot of negative things to say. Just, it can go on and on and on. And there are so many platforms that this can be going on. So how can you have boundaries and prioritize your mental well-being while still promoting your business, promoting R+ training and using the platform for good without having it suck the life out of you? I am going to share a few tactics I have worked hard to implement to prioritize my mental health because social media is a hard one for me, especially when woof culture was built off of social media. It would not be what it is today if I didn't do what I did on social media to get people to find us. So I understand that people are just like, I need to be able to be on social media because that's how I operate 60 to 80% of my business. that's fair. We're in a day and age, especially after the pandemic, everyone is virtual. So I get that. So boundaries with social media, what does that look like for me? Well, I do not have any notifications turned on for social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I do not have any notifications turned on for any of them. I don't have the badge notifications. I don't have the swipe in when it pops up. I don't have any of it because while social media is important for my business and a lot of other businesses, it's not my top priority. It's not something that I need to be checking all the time. It's not something I need to be on all the time, because if I'm on it all the time, I am going to get sucked into scrolling, and then I'm going to lose any momentum and motivation I had to be productive with my work. For me, that is what happens. I get sucked in, I get into a comparison spiral, and then I feel imposter syndrome. And then it's like, everyone else does a podcast. Why am I doing this? I don't need to be doing it. This isn't going to be good. And I get in my own head. And then there goes my workday. And that doesn't happen all the time, but that happens. And it definitely affects how I feel about myself, how I feel about my work, and my motivation to do what I am doing. So I don't get notified about social media because it's not that critical to me. I also have my phone, I put it in work mode during my workday. So I have it so that I have an iPhone and you can have different focuses. So I have my settings set that it goes into work mode between, I think I have it set from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. So that means I can get text and call notifications from specific people and like a couple of work related apps. Otherwise, I'm not getting notifications during the workday so that I can focus because my phone is too distracting for me. So putting it in some kind of focus mode so that I can focus on my work and that the things that are important will notify me, but otherwise I'm not getting notified. Screen time limitations. I go back and forth on needing them. I think I should kind of always have them going. I don't know if this happens to you guys, but if I'm scrolling that long, I lose my motivation to be productive. I get into some type of like imposter syndrome spiral and second guess everything I'm doing and just want to throw everything out the window and not do what I'm doing. So boundaries with social media, because it affects your mental health. It absolutely does. People can put what they want out there, and how they handle their social media might be different from how you handle your social media, but having the boundaries within that platform are so helpful. So with that, let's recap. You need to have boundaries with your work overall, because if there are not boundaries between your work life and your personal life, they will bleed into one another, and you will be like I have been for the last 3 years. And that is, I'm constantly switching between the two and overlapping the two. And it was getting to the point where whenever my husband and I had downtime, we'd be talking about work. We'd just be talking about work projects or what we're doing next. And we never got to step away from work. It was just work all the time. And you got to think that being in that work mode and always thinking like that, it's draining. You're not giving your brain a rest. So these boundaries are to help, I don't want to say separate them because they're not ever going to fully be separated, but just help prioritize things so that you're setting yourself up in the best way possible, so that you can do the things you want. You can prioritize yourself and your mental health aside from your business. Because if you have all these steps in place, that's going to go over to your mental health. And then that's going to go over to your productivity. And then that's going to go over to how you work with your clients, how you're showing up for your clients. You're not going to be ran into the ground and drained from taking care of everyone else, that you're just a mess that isn't prioritizing themselves. So a recap, as I already said, boundaries with clients from the get-go, how you operate, when they can expect responses, having autoresponders on outside of business hours. If you need that layer of insurance, do it. There's nothing wrong with it. And if you notice that you don't like having it, turn it off. But try some of these steps. And the ones that work, keep them going. And the ones that don't, let them fall down and find other ways to enforce boundaries for yourself. Having work email off of your phone, try it. Just try it for like 30 to 60 days. That's how long it takes for a habit. Do me a favor and just try to take your work email off of your phone, and having expectations with clients from the beginning, response times, autoresponders, social media, having boundaries with social media. So having notifications turned off if that's helpful for you, having designated work focus times on your phone so that nothing's going off and alerting you. You can handle that when you handle that. And then having designated times where you check these things, you check emails, you check social media. Even if you need to just set a timer and say, okay, I'm going to check social media for 10 minutes. Once that timer goes off, phone goes away and I move on to something else. One thing that has also helped with me is and maybe this is just my trainer brain talking, but anytime I have a boundary enforced and I stick to it, I find some way to reinforce myself. So even if that means like I go get something sugary from the pantry to give me that little boost. But the point is that you are setting these boundaries so that you are prioritizing your mental health. And so in order to prioritize your mental health, if you have these boundaries in place, go do something for yourself. Even if that means you're just sitting in your backyard with some nice music on without your animal, unless you want your animals there with you, and just having some downtime to get out of your head and just be there for yourself. It makes all the difference. With that, if you have found any of these tips helpful and it doesn't sound like I am just a rambling mess talking about boundaries, then I did my job. And if you have any helpful tips that you have implemented with your business that have set boundaries and you found them beneficial, please share them with me because I would love to share that with others. And if you found this podcast helpful, you like what we're doing here at The Leash Mind, leave a comment, subscribe, like, tag us on social media, just give us a little R+, and we'll be back with another episode.